How's it going, everyone? Sethphir here, and we are back with another Tower of Fantasy video. This time we are going to be bringing you a global launch standard banner character tier list. This is going to be for PVE, player versus environment, so we're talking about monsters and bygone phantasm, all that good stuff. We are not talking about PvP, and we are not talking about characters on the Chinese version, so no Nemesis, no Bai Ling, nothing that's not going to be available on the global launch on release. So we're going to go ahead and dive in here, and the first character we're going to talk about is going to be Crow. Crow is a lightning daggered character. He is one of the SSR characters. He is very, very strong in the hands of a skilled player, but he also requires a lot of copies of his character to reach his full potential. We're going to go ahead and put him in the A tier because of how hard it is to obtain his maximum potential in terms of the star characters that are going to be available, but also the skill cap that is required for the character. He has a lot of moves that deal bonus damage when attacking from behind and synergize with specific other characters, namely the electric or lightning types. So we're going to place him as a solid A. He is a very strong potential late game character, even beyond in some of the later versions, but we'll definitely see a lot of hit or miss with him with some people, right? Some people they'll get it, it'll click, they'll be able to pull it off, but others will really struggle with this character. So we're going to go ahead and put him in the A list for now. The next character we're going to talk about is Meryl. She is an ice tank weapon. So it's a claymore weapon here. It is very, very, very strong and very, very, very dangerous in the hands of, again, depending on the player. This is my #1 pet peeve weapon. I absolutely detest when people run this weapon in group play and they use its ultimate, which creates an ice barrier and kind of pops up this wall or pillar, and it can disrupt your entire team's combo. It can cause their ultimate to fail, all kinds of shenanigans. But that being said, she is a very strong character. She's probably one of the better tank weapons in the game. So if you get her and obtain her, she is very powerful. I'm going to go ahead and put her on the A tier list, but with a little bit of caution, because if you're not paying attention to what you're doing and you're in a group, she can easily be an E tier, and that's just based off of the fact that her ultimate has a really poor interaction with other players. So just keep that in mind, that all of these tier lists can also change to the global launch is slightly different than the other versions, as well as we may see some adjustments later on, and even from the closed betas and the alphas that we've seen, all this stuff could be different. So just a little bit of a disclaimer there, take everything here with a grain of salt. Next, we'll go ahead and jump into the next character, which is going to be Zero. Zero is a fire type character. He uses the negating cube as his weapon. He is under the healer classification. He is very powerful as well, and we're going to go ahead and put him in the A tier. He has a lot of shielding capabilities, as well as the ability to do good damage and boosting or bolstering effects to his group or party, and he is probably one of the stronger healing weapons within the game. Especially at the very start, right? So Zero is going to get a solid A placement, and a lot of these characters right here, these SSRs, going in the A category for now. So we'll go ahead and jump into the next character, and that is going to be Huma. Huma is a fire classification weapon. It uses a shield, but it also switches to an axe, so it has a dual form type ability going on, and it has good potential. It's very strong, especially in some of the lower stars, if you just get like 2 stars or so, but I think Meryl outshines it a little bit in the hands of a good player, so I think we're going to put this as a solid B tier. It can do a lot of damage in PvE content, especially with the ultimate that changes the shield into the axe and sets down a fire arena. That does a lot of DPS, and it does have its place in a lot of different places here for PvE content, especially speedrunning. And do keep in mind that a lot of these tier list characters can maybe be plus or minus a tier, depending on the situation, right? Each situation will be different, and there are also things like lower resistance to ice in a given week, which may bump up some of these characters for you. The next character we have is Shiro. Shiro is a strong character. She is good at breaking shields. Another DPS weapon. This is a physical DPS weapon. She uses the dual chakrams, these little ring type things that she throws around. And I'm going to go ahead and place her in the B tier. I think she's good as a damage dealer. She has a powerful ultimate, but maybe a little lackluster to some of the other high-end tier characters. So we're going to put her right there. She is definitely not bad by any means. She does have a good place in some compositions. And as a physical damage character, she may be one that you would select if there was a buff to physical damage or whatever that case may be. So definitely a solid B tier position there. Next we have Tsubasa. This is a SSR character. This is an ice weapon and the bow category. Tsubasa is very, very powerful. Even in the hands of somebody who cannot aim, you can still put this character or classification into the S category. And the reason for that is that Tsubasa has a lot of power-ups on her star levels. So when you would to activate your ultimate, you will grant a damage boost that transfers across switching weapons to all of your characters. So you're going to get like a strong power-up on just raw DPS boost. And her ultimate also does the same thing. It powers up your damage, powers up ice. Her ultimate is also very powerful in PVE because it rains down continuous damage with a very high number value, as well as freezing targets, which is very useful in the bygone phantasm and other areas where you don't want to get hit in the high or max levels. She is probably the best supporting weapon category in the game. Like not a healer, but a damage that boosts up the effects of all of your other weapons. She can power up any other weapon in the game with a significant DPS boost. Next we have King. Yes, good old red-haired anime character. You already know this guy is going to be strong. We're not even going to play around. We're going to put him in the S tier category. He is for sure the best character in the game, at least on global launch, at breaking shields. A lot of his starred abilities or multiple copied abilities allow him to burn shields even faster and have special effects when you do break the shield. You're going to be doing continual dot damage from the flame category. We talked about that in the elemental weapon guide, so if you haven't seen that, go check that one out as well. You can learn what each of the elements does, but he is a very, very, very strong weapon. He just is a DPS category with fire, and he will break pretty much any shield in the game very, very quickly and give you a bonus for breaking that shield too. He's going to power you up when you break those shields. So this is going to be your go-to choice for DPS. He is probably, I would say he's the best character for sure, PvE hands down, for breaking shields. Next we'll go into the follow-up character for that. It's going to be Samir. Samir is also S rank. This is the best weapon in the game for doing raw damage at the start from the standard banner. So once the shield is gone, Samir is your go-to character. Samir uses dual pistols under the lightning element, and this character really shines when you get high star values. So once you get her copies up, she starts to gain a lot of crit damage. She starts to gain a lot of cooldown reduction when she crits, as well as extra effects to her skills, which really tip her over the edge, along with having some of the highest attack growth for any SSR weapon, just baseline along the way. You will also get a lot of crit with this weapon, so it is a very, very strong and powerful combo. And I would say that these three up here in the S rank would be the holy trinity for DPS. So if you have King, Tsubasa, and Samir, you're going to be doing a lot of damage as a DPS player. If you're a tank player, you're obviously going to need some of the tank weapons to get into that category, and same for healing, so you'll have some mixture of one of these three DPS weapons plus whatever it takes to get you into the healer or tank category role. Next, we're going to go ahead and dive into the final SSR we have on the list here, which is going to be Cocoriter. This is a S tier healing weapon. She is phenomenal. It is an ice weapon and a staff at that. It has a lot of lockup and CC capabilities, as well as the ability to channel powerful heals over time that move with you across the battlefield. She can power up her allies through the healing in terms of attack damage and a lot of other strong things, and her ultimate is very, very strong for just getting your entire party to full health immediately. So Coco is definitely the way to go if you are a healer. Having Coco and Zero on the same team as a healer is going to be very powerful for you. You're going to have a lot of shields, you're going to have a lot of heal over time, and it honestly may be even overkill. Like, both of these weapons are phenomenal, so you could consider some other DPS options, but Coco is definitely very strong and up there. Next, we're going to talk about the Frosthammer. I believe her name is Echo. She is probably one of the most underrated weapons in the game, and I'm going to go ahead and put her into the A category. She is very, very, very powerful in the Bygone Phantasm. Her ability to just right-click and hold down a charge-up ability that cannot be interrupted does almost unparalleled DPS, and this is weird because this is a tank weapon, technically. It is a tank ice weapon in the hammer category, but if you just sit there and charge it up, if you look at the damage value on it, it's something like 570 or 600%. It does so much DPS, and it's AoE, and it knocks them up and stuns them, so there's a lot of potential to just grab this weapon, kind of get all the mobs stacked up, and just continually spam the charge move on it over and over until they die. This weapon single-handedly carried me to the high stages on the top of the ladder during the beta in the Bygone Phantasm, and it is only an SR weapon. That means that you're going to get it, you're going to get a lot of copies of it, you're going to get 6-starred really fast on it, and it is a phenomenal go-to weapon to level up for anybody who doesn't, you don't want to spend a lot of money on the game, or you just want to coast, you're looking for a strong starting weapon. This is the way to go. This one's definitely good, so that Frost Hammer coming in really strong there. Next, we're going to talk about this what is it called? The Night Feather, I believe her name, Bai Ling, that's right. Bai Ling, the Night Feather. She is very powerful physical damage character, is a bow style weapon. We're going to go ahead and put her in the B tier. She has a lot of potential with heavy hitting headshots. So if you have good aim, it can be stronger, and I could easily see it going up to A depending on how good of an FPS or third-person shooter player you are, but I'll put it here for now. It's a strong DPS weapon, but some of these higher S-class will definitely outshine it. It does have its place in certain settings, so it is a good go-to SR weapon to level up, especially being one of the few physical damage weapons within the game, so that's something to take a look at. Next, we have the Terminator. I believe this is the machine gun. It is an ice. It's like a giant turret. I am not a huge fan of this weapon. I'm going to put it in the E tier. It was so hard for me to use. I was trying to figure out how to make it work. I leveled it up. It has some abilities that boost ice damage. I tried making an all ice weapon party with Tsubasa and Meryl with it. That did not work for me at all. It supposedly has strong supporting capability for ice style weapons, but I wasn't able to get it to go through. Go ahead and comment down below. Have you experimented with this weapon? Can you make it work at all? I don't know. I think this is the worst weapon in the game by far. and I tried. I really did. But it's got this awkward skill where you enter this like turret interface and you shoot these blasts, but you end up just rooting yourself in place and all the monsters can hit you. And it's got a weird ammo and reloading system. Very awkward weapon, but I would definitely not recommend this one, especially if you're getting these SR characters and you're looking at them as a new player. This one's going to be very hard to deal with. Next, we have Pepper, which is a healing weapon, is an SR category. It is lightning and a staff. This is a solid option. If you do not have Coco or Zero, I would put this in the C tier. It's very average across the board. It will power you. It'll power you up a little bit. It'll heal your allies. It'll get the job done as a healer, right? But it's not going to be anything spectacular. Like, don't expect to impress anybody. Everyone's going to barely stay alive, and that's going to be good enough. So that's about where we are with this weapon. It does have some CC capability. It's kind of like the moves mirror Coco's as well, so you get a lot of like AoE ranged like knockups and lightning effects that can be attached to it. So it's not too bad overall, but I definitely say it's like the worst version of Coco and Zero for sure. And then the final weapon we have, which is going to be the Thunderous Halberd. This is going to be a lightning spear SR weapon. We're going to put it in the D category. It is okay, but the problem with this weapon is that it has a lot of moves that will launch you into the air or require some sort of combo that's long and drawn out to deal damage on. It does have strong shield breaking capabilities, but there are much better shield breakers within the game. I would definitely recommend King or the Ice Hammer for sure. They're going to be better for you. She definitely has an okay place if you need a lightning weapon, right? Like if you don't have Samir, you just don't have Samir, you don't have it at all, and you really need that lightning weapon, maybe you could consider the Thunderous Halberd, but all in all, it's not too much of a fantastic weapon. The final two characters we have down here are these bannered characters that will probably likely be coming up first in the rotation. We're not going to talk about them, but we will in a later video. But that's going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching, everyone. Appreciate your time. Make sure to subscribe, like, and hit the bell for more information and guides like this. I'm going to be covering everything, all the runes, all the puzzles, all the codes and locks, chests, all that stuff. So this is going to be the place to go if you're looking for content to get things done quick within Tower of Fantasy. Once again, thanks for watching, and we will catch you in the next video.